Brief introduction to myself. I tell people I have had career ADD, and I started out in aviation and aerospace. I worked actually flying charter for a while. If you see my girth, you'd know why I stopped doing that. I enjoy eating too much, and that wasn't a thing that promoted that. So I then started working with a company that built flight simulators, did that for 3 years as a technician and as a technical trainer, moved on to a company that built at that time mini computers. You wouldn't know the name. I like to say that that company built computers for the lunatic fringe of computing. People that did flight simulation, data gathering, so on and so forth. And I worked for them for 15 years in a variety of capacities, everything from technical training to systems analysis to computer systems design and product ownership. Came back to Pittsburgh, worked for a lot of startups for a while, finished and wound up actually in a lot of different domains. So it was not only military and aerospace, but also finance, manufacturing, telecommunications. So I've kind of had a broad range of experiences. I mean, things that came up, I wound up, working on. So it's been a lot of fun in my life, to be honest with you. And I hopefully some of that experience will come out here and you'll be seeing. That's me very quickly. The top two are the most important. Basically, my goal today is to kind of give you a big picture of what Agile and Scrum is. Just real fast. We've got. Well, actually, go ahead and use the yes or no on the chat window. How many of you are familiar with Agile? Just real quick, give me an idea. I got 2. 1 no. Everybody else is trying to find the chat window. All right, not a whole lot of response, but as I said, we got a couple of folks, some that aren't. As I said, big picture here. We're not going to get down into a lot of deep detail. I'm going to tell you how you're going to be able to get some of that in a little bit later. The other thing is we're going to contrast Agile with a traditional waterfall method of doing things. Waterfall's been around for a long time, and we're going to see why we're moving from one to the other here. The last one, answer why we should care. I've got a couple of slides. We may not get to them. I'm going to give this presentation in a PDF form to Dr. Farag and allow him to post it and get it to you guys. So you'll have all these slides. Concentrate on the information. Don't worry about taking any of this stuff down. Some ground rules real fast. I'm not going to be real rigorous in this, and I may make extreme statements to make a point. Honestly, guys, again, big picture, trying to get you the things. When I make these extreme statements, I'll tell you I'm being a jerk, so you won't have to question it. Okay, it's real simple. And then the last, I'll probably speak a little more in terms of software development, but one of the things that as people have been saying more and more and more is Agile can be used for anything. The Agile philosophy can be applied anywhere. I have a good friend that has applied this into HR, marketing, sales, places you wouldn't see. I've just read an article in Aviation Week where Northrop Grumman has been developing a rocket, and the program manager said, yeah, we call it the rocket that Scrum built. So things that people would say you can't do, even things like building a house, you can do with Agile philosophy. So that's kind of where we're going on this. Last thing, interactive. It's tough sitting in a meeting for hours and hours and hours. It's even harder doing a presentation and not getting any interaction. So I'm going to ask some questions periodically. Please unmute, raise your hand, do whatever you need to do to get my attention, and feel free to ask questions along the way. I have no problems with interaction or interruptions. So there you go. So what problem are we trying to solve? If I had a nickel for every time I heard some CEO somewhere say, we got to move faster, we got to work smarter, we got to do more with less. You know, that's been a hallmark. People are always trying to do that, maximize the value that's delivered. And this is the other thing, you know, delivering value to the end user is something that everybody's trying to do, and do it quickly. And then last but not least, more today than any time, the pace of change in business is enormous. If you're not keeping up, you've got some real problems that you've got to deal. So if you look at that problem statement, you've got to ask the question, what's broken? And you look at process, you look at people, you look at procedure, but the simple answer is, it's how we think about things. It's really the philosophy that we've been going after. And so the problem here is we've been using this kind of waterfall methodology, and on the surface, it looks really good. Who doesn't like a stepwise approach? You know, we're going to start out with requirements, okay? And then we join a relay race, right? And those requirements get dropped to the designers, and then the designers drop them to the implementers. The implementers then do their thing, send it off to the folks that do final QA or verification. And then finally it gets deployed, and some poor guy's got to maintain it. Okay, what could go wrong? Okay, the big thing that you're going to see here is that this whole process often takes many months or even years. The latest fighter, the F-35, has been in design and development for the last 20 years. They're just now getting it deployed. 20 years. Think anything's changed in those 20 years? Most likely, yeah. And we see the same thing, not quite as extreme with software, but you know, stuff that gets out there and it takes a year, 2 years to deliver, and sometimes it meets the criteria and sometimes it doesn't. The big problem with this is this focuses primarily on process and not people. You know, we want to do this. We want to get it, you know, set. We're going to build our requirements. We're going to do this formally. Okay, I'm going to write down my requirements. I'm going to put that all on paper, and then when it's done, I'm going to have to sign that. It's like a little contract with you to do that development. Now, you know, what could go wrong there? I recently discovered this thing called email, and I found out that if I write an email, sometimes the message that's received is different than the message I was trying to deliver. Anybody ever have that experience? I bet you if we took a quick poll here, the answer would be yeah. You know, all of a sudden somebody got upset and we didn't know why. Well, that's formal communication, and that's the problem. We can't write everything down. The other problem is things are rigid in execution. We create a plan. This is a plan-based system. And as such, we have this plan. We're going to adhere to the plan. We're going to do the plan. And if something changes in the middle, well, we've already got this planned. You know, why would you want to change something? Okay, so with Scrum, guys sat down and said, basically, you know, we're going to create a framework, and this framework's going to have basically three major areas: the team and the team roles, the ceremonies that we're going to do. These are the times we get together and things we're going to do. Some now call these ceremonies events. So just, you know, put that in the back of your head. We're going to keep referring to them as ceremonies. I personally like that. And then last but not least are something called artifacts. You know, what stuff do we have out there? There are many tools that will help us do some of this, but we're just going to talk about kind of how they work and then move on from there. I'll let you guys stop or bug me on chat, you know, and to the extent that I'm smart enough to keep looking at that, I'll do that.